Hi, I hope you're having a great day and I hope you're staying safe at home. Today I want to talk about matcha tea. We've been getting queries from all across the country of late because I think it's being sold as a superfood. So you see, when something's labeled as a superfood, everyone immediately believes that this superfood is going to take care of all of their health problems. Well, yes, no doubt, matcha has been studied scientifically and it has some amazing health benefits. At the same time, there are some things that we need to be careful of it, and we're going to discuss that today. But we need to understand right up front, there are no superfoods. There are no superfoods. There are no foods that can take away your disease or make you lose weight. There are really good foods, there are highly nutritious foods, and then there are foods that don't add value to our lives, like junk food, ultra-processed food, and all of that stuff. So there's green tea, and matcha tea is also a kind of green tea. So basically in matcha tea, what happens is the farmers harvest the tea crop about 20 to 30 days later after they've covered it with shade. So they believe that there's a higher composition of chlorophyll and amino acids, which makes it such a powerful antioxidant that even science is now proving. So no doubt about it, it's a great tea. Is it different from green tea? Absolutely yes. In green tea, you take the whole leaf and you infuse it in boiling water. In matcha tea, what happens is the entire leaf, which is a nice dark green because of the concentration of chlorophyll, is now basically ground together. So you're getting the whole leaf, which is ground, and then it's whisked in a little bit of hot water, and then more hot water is added to it at the right temperature to form a nice cup of matcha tea for you. Now, why is green tea and matcha tea used when it comes to heart disease, cancer, and all of these claims? Let me make it very clear. Having matcha tea is not going to take away your cancer, nor is it going to reduce the inflammation in your heart. But can it assist? Absolutely yes, and we are going to understand how. Because yes, absolutely, science is showing us the benefits of matcha tea when it comes to prostate cancer, breast cancers, lung cancers, basically all the cancers. So you just don't go and have it. Understand why. What is it in the matcha tea that makes it so amazing when it comes to cancer, prevention, recovery, heart disease, looking after your liver, even a cirrhotic liver, a non-alcoholic fatty liver, metabolic syndrome. It's helping with obesity, it's helping with type 2 diabetes. And in fact, one of the warnings of matcha tea is if you have high blood pressure and high sugar levels, you've got to be careful when you have this because it has the possibility of lowering your blood pressure and your blood sugar levels. So if you are on medication, sometimes you can go into hypo, which is equally dangerous for you, or your blood pressure may come really low and you're still taking a high dose of high blood pressure medication. So all of these things are under study, but again, when you talk about cancer, you're looking at antioxidants because we know cancer is an inflammatory condition, okay? And we know that antioxidants helps us to neutralize free radicals that produces inflammation. So it is one of the most powerful antioxidants, no doubt, because it contains something called EGCG, catechins, flavonols, polyphenols, and a compound called L-theanine. I like this L-theanine because I'll tell you what, a lot of people today are moving from coffee to matcha tea. And for the good reasons. I have nothing against coffee. I have a problem with coffee if people overdo it, people mix too much of sugar and cream with it, and if people have it on an empty stomach or when they're fasting to make their fast easier, they have coffee. Okay, you're not fasting. Remember that. You're not fasting. You're just raising your cortisol, adrenaline levels, stimulating your gallbladder when you're in a fasted state. Either fast the right way or don't fast. But why are people shifting to matcha tea from coffee? Because a lot of people who have coffee, they have highs because of the caffeine, and then they have slumps. And then they have more coffee because they want to get high again, and then they have a slump. And sometimes, for many people, coffee causes the jitters. Because what happens is when caffeine hits your bloodstream directly, you produce cortisol and adrenaline and you get all this energy. Some people can handle it really well. Some people drink coffee and sleep. But some people, that anxiety or that jitters isn't really good for you. It's not good for your thyroid gland. It isn't good for your adrenal gland. But matcha doesn't do that. Even though matcha has a lot of caffeine, more caffeine than green tea, remember that. Not as much as coffee, but more than green tea, a lot more caffeine than green tea. But because of this compound called L-theanine, it basically doesn't allow the caffeine to be absorbed into your blood immediately through your liver. So it's a slow pace. So if I have a cup of matcha right now, over the next 3 to 4 to 5 hours, the caffeine is going to be slowly absorbed into my blood. So it actually gives me a nice sense of energy, focus, everything that caffeine does, but in a very uniform manner without taking me high and bringing me down low. So that's good if people are trying to make that transition. Like I spoke about the antioxidants and the catechins. But the main thing is the jitters and anxiety. Now, when it comes to The other functions, matcha tea also is involved in carb metabolism, which means whenever we eat a carb, we have to have the right enzymes or the compounds to break down and metabolize our carbohydrates. The same way we break down protein into amino acids, carbs into energy, fats into energy. So green tea basically, or matcha tea, has the ability to improve our metabolism. So there are a lot of studies being done right now where it says it also helps you with weight loss. Again, how? By improving your metabolism. But you can't just sit there and have cup after cup of matcha tea and not exercise, not sleep well, and not eat the right foods. Okay, it's also great for cognitive health. There are more and more studies coming out for Alzheimer's, cognitive disorders, dementia, memory loss, to keep the brain stimulated. If someone doesn't like coffee, you can do matcha tea. 1 cup a day of matcha tea is good enough. Okay, another point that I wanted to talk about is the immune system. Again, most of us have weak immune systems because of too much of inflammation. So that is why we need more antioxidants in a healthy way. Now, I can get those antioxidants through supplements and pills, or I can get them from beverages or whole foods like fruits, cruciferous vegetables, nuts, seeds, the right fats, matcha tea. All of these things are rich in antioxidants. Now, don't go overboard in this. If you overdose on overdo it on green tea or matcha tea, you also have a problem. Remember, it's got a lot of caffeine. Number 2, if you have it immediately after your meals, okay, it will block your iron absorption because it is very rich in tannins, which is also great for the body, but it's bad for iron absorption. So you want to keep a gap of at least an hour and a half after you finished your meals and do it. 1 cup of matcha is good enough for everyone. Maybe if you're not having coffee in the day, you could have the 2nd cup, but that's about it. Or you could do matcha, which is heavily concentrated, and maybe a cup of green tea. But does this make it better than black tea and all of our Indian chais and everything? I think the problem with our Indian chai is we mess it up with poor quality milk and we keep adding sugar and everything else. But otherwise, a nice cup of Indian chai, which is brewed with ginger, cardamom, a little bit of cinnamon. Everyone has their way. Ethically sourced milk if you want, or even black Indian chai, sweetened with jaggery, or just had plain without any sweetener. It's fantastic for you. Black tea is also super for the health. So if someone's going to call green tea or matcha tea a superfood, then I'm going to call black tea a superfood as well. But we don't want to call it a superfood because that's just a term that helps it to sell better. Okay, but it's a great food, and if it suits you, great. If you're highly acidic, matcha tea may not be right for you, because if you're already highly acidic, it could make you more acidic. So you want to solve your acidity problem at a root cause level and then consume good quality matcha. So 1 was the warning about iron, 2 was not overdoing it. Number 3, if you're sensitive to caffeine, remember it has a lot of caffeine. Number 4, don't overdo it because most matcha tea contains aluminium. The buildup of aluminium in your body is toxic. It's not a good thing. So again, like I always tell people, you get what you pay for. So you want to get a good quality matcha tea, okay, preferably organic, that does not have a trace of heavy metals or trace metals in it. And like I said, if you have blood sugar problems and high BP and you're on medication, you don't want to overdo it on this because it has the ability to reduce your blood sugar levels and reduce your high blood pressure as well. So that's a great food. Over and above that, science talks about the anti-angiogenic benefits of green tea and matcha tea. Now that's huge when it comes to the heart and cancers, eye problems, and so many other things. You see, angiogenesis is the ability of the body to make new blood vessels, but at some point it has to stop making those vessels. So like in cancer, it is the uncontrolled growth of cells and basically your blood vessels that start stealing nutrition from your healthy cells. That's how cancer spread. So people with cancer, people with heart issues need anti-angiogenic foods, or they need control of angiogenesis. And green tea is a scientifically studied beverage, and matcha tea as well, along with hundreds of other foods that are good for angiogenesis, anti-angiogenic and good for angiogenesis. It's also great for the DNA repair. So a lot of smokers, pollution, radiotherapy, all of these things that create damage to our DNA, green tea and matcha tea are scientifically studied foods to help you with the repair of your DNA, including stem cell regeneration and your immune system. So again, this is given to us by nature, but the problem is we overhype it with media and sales and marketing and all of that stuff. Enjoy it. The way I would do it is, Like I usually have a cup of coffee every morning, 3 hours after I wake up, after my breakfast, before I start studying, consulting with my patients. It keeps me focused and good. But today I made a change. I had a cup of matcha tea. Tomorrow I may want to have a coffee. Day after I may want to have a matcha tea again. So don't just take one thing and make it your way, because black coffee is also filled with antioxidants and polyphenols when you use the right quality. So mix and match your week. Today you may have almonds, tomorrow you may have hazelnuts, day after you may have walnuts. We don't have to try to fit everything in one day. The human body is diverse. We have a diverse microbiome. In 7 days in a week, how can I get diversity in my body? Tomorrow I may want to do an oolong tea. Day after I just want to do an Indian chai. So mix and match so that you feel happy too and your body gets a little bit of everything. Have a great day, everyone. Until next time, eat smart, move more, sleep right, and breathe deep. And one more thing, do not give green tea and do not give matcha tea to children, not even coffee. Don't do that. That messes up with their hormones, that messes up with their adrenaline. They're not supposed to be on stimulants, so do not give your children matcha tea or anything that has caffeine in. And that goes for aerated drinks as well, because every time you may say, a lot of parents say, hey Luke, I don't give my child coffee, I don't give them, green tea, black tea, all of that stuff, but they're giving them Cokes and Pepsis, which is high caffeine, so you want to be careful of that. Okay, have a great day, everyone.